26, 10 a.m. in the Multi-Agency State Office Building in Salt Lake City. We welcome those of you who are here in the commission meeting room and also those of you who are online. I'm Stephen Handy. I'm the chair of the commission, joined by my fellow commissioners who we will introduce in just a minute. So we're going to have, however, our Pledge of Allegiance as we always start our meetings, and that will be conducted by Rob Hansen. If you'd like to stand, Rob, and do that for us. Rob is one of our chief staff individuals, so go ahead, Rob. Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very, very much, Rob. Let me just take a minute, and we have a lot of lovely guests here with us today from that will have a special recognition in just a moment, but also the state audit team is here with us, and we appreciate you being here as well. Let me just introduce my fellow commissioners we excuse Commissioner Tara Toohey today. We have to my right Vice Chair Jennifer Terrazon, Commissioner Jacqueline Orton. We have to my left Commissioner Christopher Conaby. Far left, Commissioner Fallon Owens is here to my far right, and Commissioner Juliette Tennert here also to my left. So we welcome you, commissioners. And we'd also like to introduce the executive staff. To my immediate left is Erica Evans, who's the Executive Director, Department Commissioner. Tammy Bolte is the Finance Manager down here, is going to give us our report. Tammy, welcome today. Happy to see you. And Jeremy Summerlat, our Managing Director of Operations. Let's see. Doug Murakami has a part of our agenda. He's the Director of Alcohol Education. Craig Ware is our Compliance Administrator. Sam McHenry from the Attorney General's Office will have a part in our agenda today. Michelle Schmidt in the audience is our Communications Director. Mary Watson, who is with us also, is our Director of Internal Audit. Rob Hansen, who just led us in the pledge, is our Training Program Manager. Stephanie Hansen is here, our off-premise program manager. Aaron Hinkle is here, the violations program manager. Jorge Corona Levia, our on-premise program manager. And Joe Ferrari, our licensing and compliance specialist, who's coordinating audiovisual, and Steve Lucero, licensing and compliance, coordinates audiovisual. And they've had quite a task here this morning and scrambling to get this to work for us. Don't know why that has to happen, but thank you guys for making it work. And then Melissa Suarez, our executive assistant. So I hope that's everyone introduced and feeling comfortable with our commission meeting this morning. The agenda was posted publicly a couple of days ago, so that should be available to you. Just as we always do, a note, our future meeting schedule will be back here in this building, in this room, on August 27th, Thursday, August 27th, and then again, Thursday, September 24th. We have, of course, an upcoming holiday closure on Labor Day, and that's on September 7th. Our stores will be closed, and the administrative office as well. Hope you all enjoyed your July holidays. Anyone who'd like to make public comments, please complete the form located at the front entrance of the room, or is it at the back entrance, Melissa? It's okay, it's here, yeah. And we'd be happy to hear from you at the end of the meeting, public comment and opportunity for that. All right, Commissioner Evans, let me just get a signal for you. Are we ready to keep going? All right, thank you, commissioners. Ready to keep going? All right. The first thing that we have is a report from the state audit team. By statute, the department has a state audit every year, and we have been working. Say that again. Yeah, so did we miss that? Thank you. See, I asked for a signal, and Erica caught me. So let's hold the audit team. Rest fast, guys, and relax. The first thing we want to do is take an opportunity to recognize some special guests. And we have with us today Sanita, who is the store manager of stores at 52, Jeremy. 51 in Taylorsville. And we have Sergeant Jeremy Matthew also with us. Let me just indicate and remind some of us that on February 27th, there was a horrific event at our store. There was a shooting in the store, and Sergeant Matthew was off duty, working at that time for the Highway Patrol. He's now with the Department of Corrections. And he was Johnny on the spot, shall we say. And it was a terrible situation, but he diffused what could have been a horrific situation. You know, I think we as the commissioners, Commissioner Evans notified us immediately. She and the executive staff were on their way to the store to provide support, to provide assistance, as well as the additional executive staff. And we were able to, thankfully, determine that the perpetrator was the one who was down, and that not any of our physically our store employees were endangered. They were certainly endangered, but they weren't hurt, but certainly emotionally. And the store was closed, of course, for a period of time. And as I said, Sergeant Matthew was there. So we have the opportunity here. We've had an opportunity before the meeting, the commissioners and the staff, to greet Sergeant Matthew, to greet Sanita, to thank them for their assistance and help. We want to take a minute here to have for you to come up here. We have that all of the commissioners have signed a letter to you. Sanita, if you and Sergeant Matthew would come up and stand up here in front, Sanita and Sergeant Matthew, and I have two things here, and then we'll just allow the commissioners to say a few things. But to Sergeant Matthews, this is for you. Thank you very much. All of the commissioners have signed that. So it's just a time of recognition. And then Sanita, for you. And then we have one for all of the employees, correct? Yes. We have one for all of the employees. And we just want to thank each of you for all that you did. You didn't ask for that day. You were just in the right place at the right time, Sergeant Matthew, to defuse a terrible situation. And thank you, Sanita, as well. We don't want to make you feel uncomfortable or anything, but commissioners, anyone want to say anything just of appreciation to them? Just go ahead and do that. Commissioner Conaby?
Yeah, I would just say briefly, if you have a situation where someone walks into a state-owned facility with a handgun and starts firing it, the last thing you think is that that's the only person that's going to get hurt in that. So appreciate your swift duty and your commitment to the state. And on behalf of all of us, thanks for everything.
Vice Chair Terrazon.
I also just want to say it really struck me when you said that as you were hearing the gunshots, your first thought was your team members. And so thank you for thinking of them, and thank you again for your service and just being at the right place at the right time. And it could have gone really horribly, much worse than it did. And so we're just so thankful for your fast actions and for thinking of your team.
Thank you, Commissioner. Did you want to add something? Go ahead, Commissioner Evans.
I'm a little late, but so you guys stay seated, but I just
go ahead and stay seated.
Yeah, I also just want to say thank you and how grateful I am that our team was safe and how well they took care of each other. I echo what Vice Chair Terrazon said. In this role, the last text you want to get is that there's a shooting at one of your stores, and I'm just so grateful about how it turned out and appreciate all of you. Mm-hmm.
Did you want to at all go ahead and read that letter, or should we just leave that alone? I don't have a copy here. It's okay. It's okay. We gave them a copy, and it's that we all were able to sign and to give you appreciation. Okay. Now let's get back to things. And Sergeant Matthew and Sanita, if you have other things to do, or you're welcome to stay and be with us through this exciting meeting. But if you have other things to do, we thank you and the supervisors and appreciate you very much. Okay, now State Audit Team, Jordan and your team, we're very happy to have you here today, and we've all had the opportunity to review the audit forward now. I just want to say that, it was about, I don't know, I think it showed up in my mail that I got this little note from Rand. You probably have something to do with that. This little note that came to me from State Auditor Tina Cannon, and it has a little medallion there, the State Audit medallion, and it says, be audit you can be. Be here. I'm going to let that commissioner see that be audit you can be. So, okay. So anyway, this is an annual state statutory audit. Please introduce yourselves, gentlemen, and take us through this. And I'm sure that the commission will have some questions as you complete your presentation. Thank you. Not yet. Push the button, Jordan. Thank you.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay. Well, thank you, Chair Handy. It's always a pleasure to be here. Starting to see some familiar faces again that I'm noticing. By way of introduction, I'm Jordan Cattleman. I've been the engagement manager for this audit. So that means kind of a lot of coordinating behind the scenes. And then Nate right here was been our in charge who was really coordinating the boots on the ground with the audit team that was reaching out to the staff. And then also we have Rand Rampton here with us today, who is our director of communications and kind of does a lot of other random stuff on the side. So he's really our jack of all trades, but we're glad to have him here
Yeah.
as well. So we are very excited to come here and present this audit, and we'll kind of just jump right into our presentation. So if you go to the next slide, please. As Chair Handy alluded to, this is a statutory audit. So in statute, every year the state auditor's office is to audit financial aspects of DABS. And then at least every other year, we're supposed to do an audit on performance and operational measures as well. This year we did both. And then on top of that, the state auditor can at other times of the year come in and review any other things at their discretion based on concerns. And we do also work with DABS for their part in the state's annual comprehensive financial report, typically in the fall time, just because they make a big deal. Now, the reason, for kind of a refresher to some of you, but also to the public who may not be as familiar, the reason this is in statute is because DABS is so significant to the state. DABS brings in about $500 million in liquor proceeds every year. And aside from providing a service to customers, that money also funds a lot of important programs. So there's statutory earmarks like underage drinking prevention, public safety, school lunch that all receive a portion of those sales. And then on top of that, once DABS covers their expenditures, any profit that's left over is funneled into the general fund. So we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars every year that goes into the state. So it is very crucial, which is why everybody wants to have so many sets of eyes on things. And that's why we're here. If you'll go to the next slide, please. So another quick introduction to our team. We talked about, so Nate and I have introduced ourselves. We obviously have our fearless leader, Auditor Cannon. She was out of town today and wasn't able to make it, so wanted to send her regards. But also we had quite a few staff coming in to help us. We had a lot to review this year in this audit. And so again, tried to bring in some of our best staff to make sure that we're giving you and the public the service that you need. Next slide, please. So to kind of set the stage for our presentation, we'll continue on with the background, and then I will have Nate, since he was more involved with the report, give our 5 findings and recommendations, and I'll come back for some closing remarks. One thing to note that we didn't include in the presentation, but we can discuss later if you'd like, we included an appendix at the end that did a comparison, it was a trend analysis over time of the liquor profit transfer that we talked about earlier, adjusted for inflation compared to population growth. And so we didn't offer any additional commentary or analysis. It's just presented the information there. So again, we can discuss if you have questions, but it's more for informational purposes. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so back to the background. We've been doing this audit since 2013. We began this year's audit in February 2026. So hopefully you all remember we came and presented the audit plan, got it approved in an open meeting, and then worked closely, wrapped it up in June, and then due to some scheduling conflicts, it's finally now in July that we're able to get through it. But if you'll go to the next slide, please. I'd really like to provide some context on this year in comparative to others. So I've been on this audit now for about 4 years. And when I started to where we are now is a very different place. When I began, there were a lot of issues. So to kind of refresh some of your memories, we had when DABS implemented the D365 ERP system, the system wouldn't interface with the state's accounting system. And so we ran into massive reporting errors that came through. There were retroactive adjustments to the liquor profit transfer, all sorts of issues that were popping up. We had a $9 million discrepancy in COGS reporting last year that had to get resolved. And then on top of it, during that time, bank reconciliations weren't being performed, which allowed the theft of about $120,000 to occur last year. So these were some very significant issues that we're coming into. I think the first year there were 10 findings in the audit report. Last year, or the year after that, it was repeat findings of the same thing. And then this last year, we had 9 pretty significant findings. This year, we only had 5. So not only has the number of findings decreased, but the severity of those findings has as well. I would say the most important part about this report is what is not in that report. And Auditor Cannon wanted me to strongly emphasize this to you and to the DABS staff. This is what we like to see as auditors. I mean, it is huge improvement, and oftentimes audits are designed to point out what's wrong. And so we don't often get the chance to say, good job, right? And that doesn't mean things are perfect, right? We still have the finding this year, and we will continue to follow these things. But the procedures that we performed in last year that, start to turn over a rock and come over all sorts of stuff, things were coming up good. It appears that the bank reconciliations have been performed properly. The $9 million discrepancy was resolved. The information appears to be interfacing properly with the system. And so we wanted to take this opportunity to say to you and to the public, we really appreciate the efforts here, because it is all thanks to the commission and to DABS staff that have worked tirelessly to implement our recommendations. So thank you. And with that, I'll turn the time over to Nate.
This will be easier if I go over here. Next slide. I kind of be going like this and this, so hopefully I can keep up. I apologize if I can't. So I get the fun part, or the not so fun part of the presentation. I will be talking about the 5 audit findings and recommendations. I will provide a little bit of background. I'm hopeful that that background can provide a little context, maybe provide a little more information that may be useful to you to kind of understand where the findings coming from. If you go to the next slide. So this first finding, Belmont Inventory Program. So Belmont, as you may or may not be aware, is basically sells on consignment. So DBS has a section in the inventory that is dedicated to Belmont. So you have a vendor that stores their product in their warehouse. And let's say, hypothetically speaking, you have a store that wants one of those products. DBS will then purchase it from that Belmont inventory. At the point of our audit when we started this audit, Belmont inventory was roughly 60% of the overall inventory in the warehouse. You go to the next slide. One thing as we started to look into this particular program is we didn't find any formalized policy or statute or kind of rules to kind of outline how the program should be run. As auditors, we generally okay, we're going to follow this rule. We're going to audit to this rule. And so it made it somewhat a little bit difficult to kind of start that process. One thing we also noted is the value. We couldn't find any external reporting of the value of this inventory. And like I said, it's roughly 60%. So we kind of find that a little significant, okay, where is it reported? Who is it reported to? Another piece on this last bullet that kind of may be important. Several years ago, we did one of the audit procedures that we did. We were looking at what's called inventory turnover. And what inventory turnover analyzes is essentially the efficiency of how fast inventory is turning over. In that report, we talked in detail about, by excluding this Belmont inventory, it can appear like you're more efficient perhaps than perhaps you may be. So by including that Belmont inventory, it can kind of show more of a true picture of the efficiency of turning that inventory over. Next slide, please. So as kind of a wrap up this particular finding, we do have a recommendation that DBS establish a formal policy that governs this particular program, as well as consider externally reporting a value or volume of Belmont inventory so that it can be public facing. Next slide, please. All right, so this one is related to Type 5 packaging agencies. And forgive me, I'm going to provide probably the most background on this particular one so we can understand. So as the commission knows, Utah, and other states across the country are liquor control states. And there are certain instances where individuals or entities, businesses that come to the commission essentially get an exception to that rule. Generally speaking, DABS will control the flow and sale of the liquor. So type 5 packaging agencies, what they are is they manufacturers of liquor. So the commission grants these manufacturers to sell the product at that facility for people to essentially take from the facility itself. So that kind of defines the packing agency. So DBAS has a staff member, an auditor, that will go and look at each one of these packaging agencies every single year. And they will, during the audit, they'll look for things like, are there proper signs in place that say no one under 21 is allowed? Do they have their business license displayed and is it active? A big part of these annual audits is they'll check for the sales information that's recorded by these manufacturers, as well as what they count or what they send to the DABS financial folks. With the financial folks, once a month, they are required to report the information that they sell. Essentially, they'll have the product that they stole, the quantity, the sales price, and they report that to the financial folks at DABS. So kind of a background of what a type 5 packaging agent really is. So you go to the next slide. I will add, this is one area that is kind of a follow-up to a prior year issue that we noted. So during the audit, we took a sample of items, we looked at it, and during that sample, we noted that these sales reports weren't quite summing up correctly. And as such, by not summing up correctly, the issue surrounding that, so Jordan talked about those earmarkings, the funds that are set aside for specific purposes and the fees. By underreporting this, essentially your fees are being underreported. So it's kind of a beginning to end type issue. So we noted that there were some inconsistencies there.
Yes.
Another issue that we noted, we obtained from the auditor that performs these audits a list of who had been completed, when they go, and we had that list year to year, year after year, and we noticed that there was a kind of a pattern. For example, packaging agency XYZ, they went the last part of July every single year. And as I said, they kind of have a checklist of what they're checked for. One of the checklist items is you're going to look at the 3 preceding months of sales. So why that is kind of a little concerning, where you kind of have a consistent pattern, is, let's say hypothetically, your packaging agent knows that you come at the end of July every single year, and you always look at 3 preceding months of sale. I'm going to make sure my 3 months of sale are squeaky clean. So if you go to the next slide. So as such, kind of a summation of what that means, we recommend they establish procedures and ensure that these sales reports are accurate. Because again, it's important to get those fees as you're passing on those fees to other groups. As well as in the audit process itself, introduce some unpredictability. So these packaging agents don't know exactly what's going to happen when you step in the door. Okay, next slide. This finding is related to the bank reconciliation process. As Jordan indicated, there were significant concerns in the prior year. As a follow-up, we just pick some bank reconciliations, and you essentially take your accounting records, you match up your bank statement, and investigate any differences. If you go to the next slide. So, and as indicated, we took a sample of items and we asked, okay, let's say hypothetically, you find errors, what do you do with them? And it was brought to our attention like, well, when we find this issue, we essentially will just go into the D65 accounting system and then just change it. Kind of a little background related to the issue they had with the theft. Generally speaking, you want to have your cash, your record keeping, and your reconciliation be performed by separate individuals. So in this case, just to provide an example, let's say that you had access to cash, you steal that cash, and then you have access to change the records. So you can see, well, I could steal the cash, adjust it, and no one's going to know the difference. So that's kind of where this finding is really, it's kind of important to separate those particular duties. If you go to the next slide. So recommendation here is to make sure those duties are performed by separate individuals. This last piece, forgive me, I didn't really provide the background. So one issue that we had last year that we didn't really dive into because we knew it was going to be a problem and they were actually fixing it. So the D365 system, the way it is set up, or the way it was set up, is an individual that is authorized to go in the system can do an accounting entry in there, and that accounting entry will essentially be posted to the overall accounting activity. Generally speaking, an accounting system will have the initiator of a transaction and the review of that transaction. And the system didn't really have that until recently. So that's kind of where the second bullet on the recommendation is, just kind of make sure that there is that secondary review before it's officially posted to the overall financial activity. Next slide. Change order duration, deposit duration. So background on this one, this really kind of is where the theft occurred, was in the change order process. High level, what a change order is: let's say you have a store that is receiving high bills and you need to change those for lower denominations in order to give change to a customer. DBS has a process in place that outlines that change order. Generally speaking, a facility, when they receive cash, will, count out your cash drawer at the end of the day, either put it into a vault, or somebody will actually bring that cash to the bank. The state of Utah, they have a statute in place that says when you have this type of process in place where you receive cash, deposits should occur no later than 3 days. So next slide, please. As we started to look into this, we, again, since there was issues, we did kind of a follow-up. We picked a sample and we noted that the DBS's policy wasn't quite in line with the state statute. But we did also notice that there were instances where they were outside of that window, which kind of led to the theft in the beginning. So multiple days had gone by before these deposits actually occurred. So next slide. As such, we made a recommendation that DBS amend their change order policy so that it is consistent with state statute with that 3-day rule, as well as ensuring that they make sure with their stores that they make the timely deposits. Okay, next slide. All right, we're almost there. One more. This one's kind of an interesting one. So it's related to a closed liquor store accounting activity. Kind of as background, one thing that DBS does well at is at any given time, you're going to essentially have the expenditures or expenses and revenues or sales for any given store. And you could say, okay, store number 1, this is how much they sold. Store number 10, this is their expenses for store number 10. There's certain accounting activity, what we call overhead. And overhead for most agencies, including this agency, are kind of allocated out to all units. So what is interesting about this particular one is related to the closed store. So if you go to the next slide. So as we were kind of doing analysis of each store, we were looking at trends like, okay, what stores are doing better than others, which stores, maybe lacking or whatever, just kind of looking at the accounting activity. We noticed that there was accounting transactions for this closed liquor store. So in investigating this further, we found out that what is occurring is a good chunk of it is DBS has individual, what they call kind of roaming employees. Let's say that you have store number 1 that somebody calls in sick and they're like, oh, we can't fill that particular shift. So we're going to grab one of these roaming employees and they're going to go work at this store for this day. But that same individual could work at store 10 tomorrow. So that's kind of an overhead type thing that they allocate out. But why we included this and why it's important, let's say you're making store decisions based upon, hey, store number 1 is doing this well, or we need to increase this here. if you are allocating those expenditures to a store that's closed and not specifically to, like, let's say store number one, you could be skewing the data just a little bit. So to kind of get a pure, accurate picture, that's kind of where leading into our next slide recommendation is just to deactivate that store. So when allocations occur, it's not going to something that shouldn't. Next slide. That's kind of where we're at.
So again, in closing with a lot of this stuff, we really want to emphasize this year was a significant improvement from previous years. And again, thanks to you and all of your hard work. We will still be coming back year after year, looking at a lot of the same things to make sure that that progress is maintained. But it's a rare opportunity that as auditors, we get to say, good job. So we want to publicly do that and then open the floor up to questions if anyone has anything.
Thank you very much, Jordan and Nate. Excellent. And thank you for explaining finding number 5. Even though I had read that and had talked to Commissioner Evans about it, I didn't fully grasp that until
There's some
your
interesting
explanation.
accounting
Thank you.
stuff in
Yeah,
there.
it is. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, really. But that is, thank you for your comment and thank you for your great communication as we went along. You asked for, as you recall, a letter from commissioners about our activities, our understanding of procedures, policies, and we did provide that early on, and hopefully that was helpful guiding you about, I mean, we are all part-time here, but Commissioner Evans and her staff, they keep us well informed, always transparent with the questions that we ask. We have a new internal audit team, internal auditor appointed Mary here, and a team with commissioners that will be working with her, chaired by Vice Chair Terrazon. And so that'll be helpful going forward as well. But I do recall last year we were in Ogden remote, and you came, and that was a rough audit finding, those 9 findings, and just commendations. And of course, Commissioner Evans, I mean, Commissioner Clayson was there, Executive Director Clayson, and that changed that July. And so now here we have, and so lots of progress has been made this year. And from me, great appreciation to each one of our staff for addressing this in such a timely manner. I have one question, then open it up to other questions, other commissioners. The D365 has been a difficult little animal to implement. Is it your assessment that we're finally there, that it's working the way it's supposed to? It's communicating with state finance, and what are your comments about that? About D365, Jordan or Nathan?
Absolutely. As an auditor, we're always scared to say anything with absolute certainty. So
Yeah.
what I will say is the procedures that we performed in previous years that were dredging up huge issues did not find anything this year. So what we did is we looked at how the information was getting transmitted into Vantage. So we did that over a period of time. I think it was a 6-month period of time, and it looked like everything was going accurately. And then we looked at several daily interfaces with the system. And from what we could tell, it looked like everything was accurate. More information will kind of become clear as we move into the annual comprehensive financial report, because that is really kind of the final test of did everything get in the system properly. So again, as kind of a political dodge thing, I don't want to say anything,
No, I
but
know.
it does appear that
Okay.
good progress has been made.
That's all I was asking for. Thanks very much. Comments from other questions? Commissioner Orton?
Thanks so much for your help. And there are a lot of things that all of us, don't see on the day to day that you bring to our attention. And I really appreciate that. And one of the things is in your first finding, the bailment inventory program lacks formal policy. That is so confusing to me, because we have had extensive discussions about bailment over at least the last 4 years. And so I don't know if this is a question for you or for Commissioner Evans or Director of Operations, Summerlin, but what are we missing? I'm trying to figure out what we are lacking there and what needs to be done to come into compliance.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I don't want to steal your thunder because you're allowed to totally respond, but
expert, so-
I will say we do have some things in place. We do not have a policy. We have started it based on the feedback from our state audit partners. So hopefully the commission will see that soon. We do have a vendor partnership manual that is what our vendors use to list and delist products, goes through all our procedures. We recently updated that this fall, and it does talk about bailment and what that arrangement is. And then we do utilize bailment agreements. And I think that's something we can dive deeper into too, is how those function. So,
Mr. Chair, a quick comment and a question.
Please, go ahead.
So if I were to run my own store in a business and I had a vendor that wanted to give me all my product, I didn't have to pay for it. Like, that serves the state well. It serves me well. I think that's a great thing. I can see the other side of that scale to the point of your audit, where if that gets so large, I turn into their personal warehouse, that can be a problem, right? With not disclosed and otherwise. It also brings up the question of insurance, right? Who's insuring those goods and other things. So I think it's a great finding. I think at the end, by the time, as you've seen over the last year, by the time Erica and her staff whittle down and put a little bit of focus on it, I think what we'll see is that it serves the taxpayer well, and they'll have controls in, so that's not too great, and everything will be insured, and we'll move on down the road. But I think it's a good thing to point out, and it speaks, I think this entire audit speaks to refinement, not problem, and to your point, and I think the staff should be congratulated and appreciate that, you know, how would I say this productively? The state auditor's office won't just come in and say everything's great, right? You'll just keep digging, right? That's your job, and you won't stop digging. And so we're getting down to things that are really great things to be tweaking and moving around, and not big issues. So applaud everybody. I think it's a great audit. So thank you for your work.
And
Go ahead.
yeah, to finish up, I just wondered what specifically do we need to like have it? I'm confused as to what we're missing, because I have seen extensive what I thought was policy bailment, but is it just, and are those just explanations and we need to like codify something?
And I can add in a little bit of context on some of that. So with a little bit of background, Utah DABS is not unique in using bailment. In fact, it's used pretty widely across the industry, across other control states. So while it may be a unique concept to people outside, it is something pretty common. Each state does it a little bit different. And there are very definitive reasons for using it, right? As Commissioner Conaby brought up. What we were kind of hoping to see is, because it makes up such a large portion of it, let's say 60%, a lot of what was being run off of was some of these vendor agreements and then just historical practice. People understood this is why we're doing it. And so there's a little more information in the language of the finding, but it indicates if there's turnover in that institutional knowledge, you may deviate from the intended purpose of that bailment. And so if you specifically codify something, this is how it works, this is why we have it in here, that will help make sure that you are accomplishing the goals that you have of having bailment.
Now I understand, because I didn't understand that we didn't have it codified in policy already. So, because I've seen so much written about it. So,
Right.
Okay, well, I appreciate your help with that.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, please.
I just want to say thank you as well. Thank you to this team, to Auditor Cannon. You guys have been professionals all along the way, and for years, honestly, you've done a great job. And I also want to publicly thank our team, because I'm really proud of the work they've done over the last year to get us to this place where the audit findings are very different than last year. And it's really kudos to them. So I want to say that publicly, and thank you for being good partners. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here, gentlemen, and for your professionalism and your transparency and great communication, and the best to Auditor Cannon. And Rand, thank you for being here as well. And our responsibility now, if there are no further questions, commissioners, is that we need to now, our responsibility is to accept the audit report formally by a vote, which means that we agree with the findings and the responses from the staff, and look forward to implementation and communication as we go forward throughout the year. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So motion, please, on the audit, please.
Motion to approve the audit and the response from the Division of Alcohol Beverage Services.
Thank you very much. A second, please.
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Orton. Thank you, commissioners. All in favor of the motion as stated by Commissioner Conaby, say aye.
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 Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll excuse you and thank you again.
Thank you.
Look forward to continuing conversations. Now, commissioners and those engaged here in the conference room and online, we have an opportunity to we've needed some clarification from the governor's office about what they would like to have done in terms of the leadership structure of the commission. And we have a yearly opportunity. The commission chair is appointed by the governor, and I'm going to continue for the year. They've asked me to do that. And then Vice Chair Terrazon will step into that role next year. But we have a responsibility to reelect you to be the vice chair for the year. So moved. A second. A second to third, okay.
Mr. Chair, can I amend that? motion?
You may amend anything you want.
I appreciate it. I just, my friendly amendment hopefully is that we're electing Jennifer Terrazon as our vice chair this year with a recommendation that she be appointed chair in the next year. I'd like the motion to be that if others are agreeable.
I like that.
Thank you.
Second that.
Second from Commissioner Orton. Thank you very much. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor of the motion as stated or vice chair election, Terrazon, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, there you go, Jennifer, Commissioner Terrazon. Thank you. That formalizes that. Thank you. Okay, now we have Doug Murakami, who will provide our Parents Empowered update. Thank you. Go ahead, Doug.
Thank you, Chair Handy. Good morning, commissioners. Coming into our new fiscal year, Parents Empowered is examining our approach to how we look and approach our local area community outreach and partnerships. As you know, Parents Empowered is a statewide media and community education campaign with the goal to have every Utah child reach the age of 21 alcohol-free so they can enjoy the benefits of a healthy brain and a bright future. Excuse me. So our community-based initiative is a key strategy that works together with our traditional media campaign approaches. As we examine past practices and gathered feedback, we're confident we can make strategic and collaborative improvements. Our top line objectives are finding equity and balance throughout the state and being mindful of budget limitations. So to do this, there's a lot to consider. I mean, just to give you a few examples, rural Utah, that can be a challenge just being rural. And they have their own set of needs themselves. Salt Lake County, for example, is 1/3 of the state's population. They have 23 municipalities, 6 major cities. And so that's something to consider. The Wasatch Front itself, from Ogden to Provo, is approximately 80% of the state's population resides in that area. So that's another consideration. There are areas in the state of Utah with underage drinking use rates that are higher than the state average. And then we have various cultures within every community that we need to consider as well. So those are just a few things we put into this. We really feel like the opportunities are endless, and we're excited to really attack those issues. We'll continue to be thoughtful and strategic, and we do feel like we're on a good path to move the campaign forward, particularly with the collective help of our 13 local prevention districts throughout the state, as well as key stakeholders and leaders throughout the state as well. That concludes my report, commissioners. Any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
You just said something, Doug, that maybe was new to me, the 13 local prevention districts. Just take a second, describe some of those, how they are geographically spaced.
Sure. It's we call them the prevention network, but it covers the entire state. There are different 13 regions or districts, if you will. Some districts have 3 or 4 counties that are part of that prevention area. And so they're run by their own local health districts. And so we collaborate with those 13, we call them prevention coordinators, to provide and assist us in getting our underage drinking messages to the entire state. So it's a great group to work with. We've worked with them throughout the campaign, and those are the areas that will reach out. Just to give you an example, San Juan County, we've got a terrific prevention coordinator in that area, Lynn Mitchell. We work with her closely so that she puts us in tune with her own community. You know, they have their own special needs. What might work in San Juan County might be a lot different than Davis County, for example. So they're an integral part of what we're doing in the.
Yeah, we've had some of these prevention directors, I think about it, in our meetings from time to time, and any of them are certainly welcome when there's an appropriate or interesting report that they can provide. I assume Commissioner Owens here from Garfield County. I mean, those would be multiple counties probably with the prevention district. Yeah, thank you. Any other questions from commissioners or comments? Seeing none, thank you very much, Doug. We'll move on now to Tammy Bolte is our finance manager director, and actually not the finance director.
No, not at all.
Not at all. But you're going to provide. We sent Todd on his way last month, and we're happy to have you here with the finance report.
Well,
Tammy, the time is now yours.
thank you, Chair Handy, and good morning, commissioners. This finance report is for the period of fiscal period 12 for the fiscal year 2026. This is not the final report. You'll be hearing regarding the fiscal year of 2026 as there are final entries still to be made and the closeout from the DGO Division of Finance. We will present the final year-end report during the August Commission meeting. So revenues for this period ending on June 30th, 2026 were approximately $20.1 million, or an increase of about 5%. Expenses for that period were $5.5 million, or a decrease of about 9%. During the month of June, we generated $150,993 for the Pamela Atkinson Homeless Fund. On the whole, the performance of DABS was better than the same period of 2025 by returning approximately $9.5 million to the general fund, or a 2.15% increase from the period period of 2025. For the year, the DABS is set to return approximately $100 million range back to the general fund. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. But alcohol sales continue to. I mean, they're fairly flat, aren't they?
They are.
They are flat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any questions or comments from commissioners? Thank you for that report, Tammy. Thank you for being here, all your good work. We'll now move to the operations update. Commissioner Evans and Jeremy Summerlap.
Thank you, Chair. Quick update. I think you mentioned this, but I just want to make sure we say it again because it's important. We have created an internal audit working group subcommittee, and that will be managed and chaired by our Vice Chair Terrazon, and also she will be joined by Commissioners Tenner and Tui. You all know we brought on Mary, who's here today, to be our new internal audit director, and I think this will be a good way for us to really monitor and oversee that program, and she's done a great job so far. With that, I will turn it over to Jeremy to do the rest of our operations report.
Thank you, Commissioner Evans. This is the first time I've said that. Sounds great.
Okay, great.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm happy to just highlight a couple of things. One, perhaps a win. Our commitment to maintaining high in-stock rates at DABS retail locations remains a top priority as we continue to target a 95% rate across all stores. And I appreciate the leadership collaboration among the three operations organizations: Consumer Purchasing and Merchandising, Warehouse Distribution Center, and the Retail Enterprise here at the DBS, to ensure that we do maintain this level of product availability for our customers. It's been a target, and we've we've maintained that target with the collaboration of the team, and I'm quite proud of them. And then secondly, progress on the online shopping e-commerce platform continues at a steady pace. Current configuration efforts are centered on optimizing the customer journey and configuring the presentation of products with collaboration from the product vendors, which we much appreciate. And more information on this topic is coming soon. Do you have any questions I can answer?
Seeing none, we thank you very much, Jeremy and Commissioner Evans. I think Commissioner Orton does have a comment, please.
Since this is my last meeting and my last opportunity to say this publicly, I just want to say that the extraordinary growth that we as commissioners have seen in transparency and information out of the operations division, it truly is like a night and day difference between when I started in 2018 and today. And so much of that progress has been made under your leadership. And I want to say I appreciate everything that you have done to help give us as commissioners the information we need to be able to help to guide this ship. And so I just want to say to Commissioner Evans, it is difficult to remember to say Commissioner Commissioner Evans, and to you, and your team. It's extraordinary. And I want to thank you all for your creativity. When I call or text Jeremy and say, I have no idea what this is. What is this? What are these numbers? What does this graph mean? He immediately responds in a way that I can understand. And that can be a challenge because, we as commissioners we're not in the headquarters on a day-to-day basis. A lot of people think we are. We're not. And so for us to have the information that we need on the minutia that we sometimes have to deal with is just such a gift. And so I appreciate you, your team, and the DABS staff. It's been extraordinary growth.
Yes, we all agree. Thank you very much for articulating that, Commissioner Orton, very much. Thank you. We'll go to now, we have an administrative rule that has been out for public comment that we had approved. It was a change that Commissioner Evans will explain to us that streamlines really the event permitting. Had to have a change in the legislative the bill this year. And so go ahead and explain that to us now, Commissioner Evans.
Sure. Thank you, Chair. So this rule previously came before this commission to vote to file it for public comment. So it's coming back now for approval to make a rule. That 30-day public comment period ended. Really, the changes are to be consistent with some internal process changes for event permits made during the legislative session. And then maybe the biggest policy change is the rule previously required event permit applications to be submitted 30 days before the event. The rule now requires they be submitted 15 days before the event. Really, it intended to be a hard and fast rule, but also intended to provide some flexibility to those event permit applicants because we know it can be difficult to get through that process. So with that, I think you can take a motion. And one clarification, the effective date can be any time starting August 6th or later.
So we should state that in the commission, an effective date, or in the motion, an effective date?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. August 6th or
Mr.
later.
Chair, two quick questions.
Please, please.
Is there an effective date for you, Commissioner Evans?
Our team is ready to go. So just as soon as the commission would like, August 6th was the date we were planning on, and any time later is allowed.
Then my second question was, did we receive any public comment? Lots of times you don't.
Nope, no public comment.
Great. With that, I'd make a motion.
Please.
To approve with an effective date of 8/6/26.
Thank you very much. A second, please. Commissioner Owens, a second from you. Thank you. I think it's well stated and understood. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That passes. Thank you, Commissioner Evans, for that. Now we have a review with Sam McHenry from the Attorney General's office, the 14 violations and, well, there's 17. We've got to flip the page, right? 17, and then there's one order show cause. So Sam, the time is now yours.
Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. Yes, there's 17 items on the consent calendar today, and they are considered as a block with one vote unless any of the commissioners request they be pulled out for individual discussion. We have settlement agreements in place, and they've been fully accepted, and we're awaiting commission action.
Thank you very much. Any questions, Commissioners? We had an opportunity to discuss this on our 2 subcommittee meetings and have these questions answered by Sam. And thank you. Anything else to talk about here? Looking forward to a motion then if we want to take 1 through 17 as a block. Vice Chair Terrazon, move to approve. A second, please. A second, please. Commissioner Owens, a second, please. Thank you very much. I'll place the motion to approve the 17 violations as stated and the adjudication, we should say. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those are approved. Now we have item B, an order to show cause. Sam.
Thank you. This is a order to show cause case number 26-11. It is Will International LLC, also known as DBA UMC Motorsports Campus. The premises on this property was sold, and the lessee vacated the premises without notifying the department, and we have not heard anything from them. And under Utah Code 32B5309, if they fail to notify the department that they are ceasing operations for more than 10 days, the commission may suspend, revoke, or deem forfeit the license. Typically on something like this, the commission has gone with the forfeit.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that has been the standard procedure before. So Commissioners, whatever you would like to do in terms of your motion. Do you have any questions for Sam? That's the first question. A motion would be appropriate now here on B. Commissioner Conaby?
Mr. Chair, we looked at this in the compliance
Yes.
subcommittee, and we were all in agreement that we'd like to make a motion to forfeit the license.
Thank you very much. A second, please. Commissioner Owens is a second. Thank you. All in favor, as the motion is stated, the forfeit for of license of UMC Motorsports Campus in Grantsville, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That license is forfeit. Thank you very much, Sam, for all of your great work this last month. Number 12 item today is our licensee recognitions. Commissioner Evans.
Yes. So you should see, yep, up on the screen. Just want to go through our list of those licensees who passed their CUB inspection, showing that they're operating safely, not selling to minors. Happy to highlight them. We have 194 across the state this month, which is a big number. And just grateful and want to acknowledge them for operating safely and being good operators. One day I'm going to keep talking as long as this list, but I'm.
It's a good list. That's
It is a
count.
good list. Yep.
Commissioner Evans, have all of these places been visited by either staff or a compliance officer in order
Yes.
to achieve that? So
Mhm, yep.
pretty amazing.
Yeah, this is pretty amazing. That's wonderful.
Yeah, thousands of licensees across the state, a small and mighty team of our compliance officers that visits them for annual audits. So yes, and that team has had a huge focus over the last couple of years on education. And hopefully this is an indicator that that has, been productive.
Yeah, the last slide is thank you, and we thank you and the compliance team, and commend these licensees for their compliance. Okay, Craig, Ware is our compliance administrator. He now has multiple items here under number 13, including the approval of the June 25th minutes. Craig, the time is yours.
Thank you, Chair Handy. Good morning, Commissioners. In this consent agenda, we have included the prior meeting's minutes and some, but not all of our license applications and permit applications. In this consent agenda, it includes the following types of applications: our off-premise beer retailer, beer wholesaler, package agency, hotel, special use permit, restaurant beer only, restaurant limited service, and full service restaurant applications. The consent agenda does not include bar establishment applicants, primarily because those applications often warrant further discussion among the commission and the applicants. They will be heard separately from the consent agenda. It's important to point out that these applications have been reviewed, vetted out, and they do meet the statutory requirements as needed. I can answer any questions you may have, or I can turn the floor back
Questions
over
for
to you,
Craig,
Craig.
anyone, please? Seeing none, I think then we're ready for the motion. Let's see. I don't think we need to do that agenda item unless there's anyone here would like to address the commission. I don't think so. I don't think so. So we need for the consent agenda, a motion, please. Commissioner Owens, how about a motion from you to move to approve the consent agenda, including the minutes from June 25th. And a second, please. A second, please, from Vice Chair Terrazon. Thank you very much, Commissioners. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So the consent agenda is approved. Number 14 on our agenda is the license application consideration items from Rob Hansen.
Good morning, Commissioners. So for the bar licenses, we have two changes of ownership. The first one is Blackjack's and Spanish Fork. The second one is TCS Awesome LLC in Park City. Both of these applications are complete and ready for your consideration.
Yes, and we've discussed these in our subcommittees. Any questions for Rob on these? A motion, please, to approve the change of ownership. Vice Chair Terrazon motions for approval. A second, please, Commissioner Owens. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Those are approved. Now the new applicants, please, Rob.
New applicants. So we have 47 bar licenses available for the entire state. We have two applicants. The first one is Lindsay's Sports Bar and Grill in Orem. This application is complete. The second one is Curly's Lounge in Delta, and this one is conditional. These applications are ready for your consideration.
Yeah, that's a quick one here this time, isn't it, Rob?
Yeah, just
yeah.
two when we have so many licenses
Just two,
available.
and so that leaves us 45 after approving these two, which I assume we'll do. So thank you very much, Rob. Any questions for Rob? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve these licenses, these bar licenses. Commissioner
Right.
Owens, so moved. A second, please. Second from Vice Chair Terrazon. Thank you very much, Commissioners. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nay. Those are approved. Thank you very much. All right, we're moving along here. We have the opportunity now, if anyone here would like to address the commission, we would be happy to have you come forward and state your name and your affiliation, who you represent, and we'd be happy to have you come forward at this time. All right. Anyone online? Melissa? No one online. All right. Tanner, we sort of got to hear from you last time. Do you want to come forward? Okay, you're okay. You're happy to pile on. You're happy to pile on as we pile on. Okay, thanks. Thanks, everyone. Well, comments from commissioners, just a couple things that we want to extend our incredible appreciation to Commissioner Orton. She has served 8 years on the commission, 2 terms, requiring an appointment by our governors and confirmation by the Senate. We have a couple things for you today, Jackie. We have a letter of appreciation from Governor Cox to hand to you. Yes, okay, and that was the backer for that, right? And also we have something, a plaque that we've had prepared, that Melissa prepared, of appreciation for you to commemorate your service. Thank you. But Commissioner Orton has been really become a lovely friend of mine, and I've called her on several items. She's had lots of institutional knowledge and experience, and I've always appreciated the great questions that you have asked. Sometimes you're in these meetings and you assume everyone knows and you don't know, and it's okay to ask questions. But it has been really, really great of you to do that, and you really do have you're walking out of here with incredible institutional knowledge, and that's going to be missed. And that really is going to be missed. So Commissioner Orton and I had a fun time with Melissa when we went. We went just 2 months ago. We went in Panguitch to to our remote meeting that Commissioner Owens hosted for us. And we got up early and we went and walked saw the sunrise that Melissa facilitated at Bryce Canyon. And the rest of you were sleeping in or somewhere. I don't know what you were doing. I don't know what you were doing, but we were out there. We were out there, and it was delightful. And we had a lot of laughs and some good times talking about a lot of good things. So you're a terrific person, and we're going to miss you very much and stay in touch. So thank you for your service here. Yeah. Comments from other commissioners or anyone like to comment here? Go ahead, Jennifer.
Well, I just want to say that you were so kind to me when I first started and such a mentor through all of this and taking my calls before every meeting for us to talk for hours about all the rules and regulations.
Well, and those dates preceded the improvements that have been made
is pre-audit.
in the operations transparency because yeah, we didn't
years
used
ago.
to have, we didn't used to have all of the information from the operations or for the members of the operations subcommittee that we do now.
So we'll miss you so much. It just won't be the same without you here and all of the just personal touches that you bring. And I was reminded today that during COVID, you hand sewed masks and delivered them to our team members.
I did, and I had some help. I had a community of about a dozen people who helped sew. We made 600 masks. So, yeah.
So,
and then I got to go to all the stores and deliver them. It was so much fun because I love to drive. So it was a lot of fun to drive and meet all of the store managers and employees at all our different stores across the state. So
we've had a lot of fun when we visited the package agencies and you broke a tooth. And so it just won't be the same.
I was trying to patch a broken tooth. Oh, sorry. I was trying to patch a broken tooth while Commissioner Terrazon drove my car across the state. So yeah, we've had some good times.
Mr. Chair, I mean, to only have been a fly on the wall in the car on the drive down, I feel like would have been just endlessly entertaining. I don't even know what to say.
Jeremy, you were talking to Jeremy off and on too. Yeah. So
a fly, not a spider.
It was a party.
That's awesome. I'm glad I wasn't in the car in some ways, but again, I wish I was in other ways. I don't even know what to say. And I just really value our friendship and just watching you here on this commission and it's just echoing the questions and just the analysis that you bring to everything that happens in this commission has been really educational for me. And then all of the institutional knowledge that you have has been incredibly helpful. And so we're really going to miss you. And I want to mention to you, Jacqueline, it was so cool to have a little time with you hanging out in Washington, D.C. And it wasn't related to the commission, but it allowed me to see you in action outside of the commission. And this lady got us into rooms that I would never get into. Just to see her in this environment, she's a complete powerhouse. And so it made me appreciate even more that you taking the time to be doing this with us. And so just thank you. We're really going to miss you, but I know we'll continue to be good friends and hopefully you can continue to inspire because like I said, I mean, I really appreciate everything you've done on this commission, but outside of the commission as well. So thanks, Jacqueline.
And I will say that was a really fun trip. And one of the things that I will miss the most is having quality interactions with the people I have served with inside DABS and outside of our, our public meetings and our subcommittee meetings and our midnight discussions. I, I do want to say, if you don't mind me taking a moment, I just want to say 8 years ago, when I got a call from Mike Maurer asking me if I would be willing to serve at the behest of Governor Herbert at that time, I said, why? I mean, sure, I guess, but why? And he said, well, the governor feels really strongly. He said, we have like 400 applicants for this position, but he felt really strongly that this was a position that he wanted to get someone who did not want the job to serve in. And I will tell you, I had not applied. And I said, well, mission accomplished, because this is not anything I ever aspired to do. But it has been such a gift. And I'm so grateful to Governor Herbert, Governor Cox, the state Senate, the legislature, all of our licensees, and even our applicants. I mean, we have literally been brought to tears and been inspired and just learned so much about our, this segment of our state that does raise a lot of money to fund needed projects for the state, and at the same time can be a little tricky and a little wonky and a little difficult to navigate. And our licensees and our applicants inspire us. They encourage us. And I think that the one thing that we as commissioners have to do well is listen. We have to listen. And the people I have served with, the commissioners I have served with, do that better than just about anybody I've ever served in any position with in my lifetime. And I know that sometimes the public doesn't feel like we're listening, but you're not hearing the discussions that happen behind the scenes after you've spoken. And whether it's a text message, an email, whether you run into us somewhere at an event or at the grocery store and mention something to us, we don't drop the ball. It is discussed. It may not have the impact you want, but we do discuss it, and we do listen. And I feel like our staff at the DABS is so extraordinary. And because of our positions, we can't always communicate what we are thinking, what is happening behind the scenes, what we know is, going on. But I just want you to understand that the DABS staff that we have and these commissioners I serve with are extraordinary listeners. And at the end of the day, that is what I think is the most important thing that we offer when we agree to serve, whether we're paid or unpaid. A lot of people think that we are employees of the DABS, and we are not. We do serve on a voluntary basis. But I just want to thank my fellow commissioners who are truly the most extraordinary, most accomplished people. I am inspired by all of you and your success and your groundedness You know, whatever your feelings about our state, our economy, the business of alcohol, I can honestly tell you as the I'm just going to say it, as the only Democrat here, I am going to tell you, in my 8 years, we have never taken a partisan vote, ever. Politics don't, it just doesn't apply when it comes to what we do. And I am so grateful for that. And I appreciate all of your service. I appreciate our incredible staff, including all of our store staff, our managers. And I appreciate the support and input we get from our community. So with that, I'll be quiet now.
It's hard to follow you. I know, but I just want to say thank you as well. We brought a few treats, and that's my love language. So we'll share those after. You will be so missed. And I also want you to bring your puppy to come visit us. So
I will say, I ended up having my 13-year-old dog, George, accompany me last minute on our annual soiree in, and he got to partake of our little visit to Bryce Canyon at 5:45 in the morning. And I just, I appreciate all of you humoring George and his presence at our meeting in Garfield County.
George was a good boy. He was a good boy. All right. And staff, please, Jeremy, please, staff.
Hi, just a quick one. Commissioner Orton, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this. I really appreciate your partnership this past year in the operations subcommittee and chairing that subcommittee and supporting, you know, our efforts to evolve and to grow. And I appreciate the words of encouragement. And before that, I really appreciated your support as we navigated the changes in the compliance division a few years ago. And not just you, the commission as a whole, but in particular, we've had a lot of conversations, even though sometimes you were across the world in a different country and it was 2 a.m. where you were. Thanks for taking my calls and for walking me through, you know, a number of sort of tricky situations. And I really do appreciate it. You will be missed.
Thank you, everyone. I think we're at that time where it's time for the conclusion of our meeting, and you really will be missed, Jackie. I think the final thing I want to say about you is that you have taken this really seriously. I mean, really seriously. And you're life of the party, but you've taken this really seriously, and that is, you know, really appreciated, and something that we should all, as part-timers, and you know, the things happen. We have these couple of meetings a month, and the phone calls come, and trying to sort it out. Let's take it seriously. This is serious business that we're in service in the state of Utah. So I know that we do. So, Commissioner Horton, why don't you give us one final motion?
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned, everyone. Thank you very much.